Michael Benhayon is a talented young musician, songwriter and producer from northern New South Wales, Australia. At the age of 20, he formed the band Glorious Music, and in the 3 years following, he has released 6 albums, including a range of genres, with Michael himself composing and playing all musical tracks. Through Glorious Music, he also provides services creating customised music for film and advertising. Hi Michael, thanks for being here today.
Hi Rebecca.
So you're a producer, you've got an extensive catalogue of your own work, and you also work with other artists producing them. But that's just in your spare time. You've also got a young child and you work full time. How do you manage all that?
I find a lot of my time producing music is in the early hours of the morning. I am getting up around 2, 3, those kind of times just to make music and produce all the works that I have done thus far to date. And that allows me to free up a lot of time in the day for all the other things that I need to do. And the way I see it is that my work and my work commitments is something that I love, and it's a passion that I have. So by committing to that and making sure that that's solid in my life, it's then not hard to fit other things around what I like to do and what I need to do.
So someone that's that prolific with writing and making music, you'd think you had a fairly musical family background. Is that the case with you?
No, I don't have very much musical background in my family. I grew up very sport orientated. So music came to me around the age of 13 when my sister had a guitar. She didn't necessarily play it, but she had it because I think someone had given it to her. And I just saw it one day and picked it up and went, this would be fun to do, this would be cool to do. And so started playing around, strumming around. Probably didn't sound very good, but it felt great to be doing that.
You now play a lot of instruments. Did you get training at that point, and how much training have you had in music?
Yeah, at that time, because I enjoyed it so much, just strumming away and just plucking notes and doing my own thing, I spoke to my parents about it, and they suggested, well, what if there's someone at school? What if there's something at school that you could find? Is there anyone offering tuitions? Is there a music teacher or someone doing something? So sure enough, within that week, I went to school and saw a little flyer on the music room window, and it was a Year 10 student who was offering lunchtime, half an hour, music, guitar tutoring and lessons. I did those lessons with him for, I think it was a full term, so 10 weeks. And the reason being is because the very first time I sat down with him, I look back today and I see I was very, very fortunate in having that teacher. It was almost heaven sent, because what he said to me the first time we sat down was that, look, I'm not going to teach you, I'm not going to tell you what you need to play and how you need to sound and what you need to do. I'm just going to show you the very, very basic stuff and let you explore your own expression with it. And so that was great because it enabled me to learn the foundations of chords and chord patterns and that sort of thing. And then from there, at the end, he just left it to me and said, look, you've learnt enough you've learnt the picking, you've learnt the notes, you've learnt enough to do your own thing, so go create your own expression. Essentially told me not to come back.
Wow, that's awesome. So he basically gave you the tools and let you go on your way rather than giving you something really prescriptive and, so much high intensity training comes with so much technique, so much specificity in how you play the music. So you didn't get that.
No, not at all. To this day, I don't know how to read music. I can sort of make out notes on a music sheet, but it never really gelled with me. It was never really something that I took to as a passion or something I felt like I could really engage with and, look at their notes and read them and play to that.
Right. And in your playing, like the way that you play, I've noticed when I listen to you live, no two times does it sound the same. And so even in that, there's not necessarily a structure of it has to be a certain way.
Yeah. So the way I approach performing live and playing live is, because I play all the instruments myself, I will pre-record the instruments that I'm not going to play on the day. So if I'm going to be playing piano, then I obviously won't include that in the mix that I make for the live performance. So I play all the other instruments and give them the right levels that they need. Then when I hop on stage, I find that the live performance and performing on stage almost asks for a different kind of expression than in the studio. So even when I'm in the studio, nothing's pre-rehearsed. What I do the first time is what is in the cut, is in the edit, goes almost pretty much on the album itself. The only times that I might adjust or change things is if I'm going to go for a different sound. But essentially the sound that I create then and there is what comes out. I don't have to sit there perfecting a certain sound or getting the right sound myself.
You work a lot with Miranda Burhan, and I've heard you speak a bit before about how she sings it and you lay it down, and that's what we hear on the final album.
Yeah, for all the albums that Miranda has sung on, the way we approached it was she learns a song, and I have to mention that we're doing this in the early hours of the morning because we both have full-time jobs. So she might come in at 3 a.m. Within the hour, I teach her the song. If I've written the words and the lyrics, which is normally the case. And so I teach her the song. I have to teach her the tune as well. There's a bit of working out how it's going to sound, and she's got to find her own way with the song, which I found Miranda to be amazing at that with. So as she starts singing and coming out with whatever she feels to do, I'm sitting back thinking, well, what more can you bring to it than what you've just done? So essentially, because she connects, and we make it a very strong focus on connecting with what the song is about, it's like when she delivers it, it's all there. So we don't need to refine much, and that's why what we do is when she first learns it, we then record it, and that's what you guys hear on the album.
And that gives it almost a kind of live quality on an album, because there's something so amazing about the first time someone sings something. There's a kind of, that connection can't be replicated. Have you tried to go down the route before of overproducing it, and how did that go? Like, have you had experience of both?
Yeah, on the first album we thought, we did all of the recording and we had it all set there, and then we went back and thought, oh no, got to do the right thing, got to get the microphone out, got to get the right one, got to get this and that, and re-record everything and do it properly. And essentially, as we started to record, it just was not sounding right. It was just not having that same feel. It was like we were trying to capture something, and it got a bit robotic in its delivery. Like it was trying to, re-emulate something else that we had already done. And so it was not matching the same quality that we had captured in the first recordings. So we ditched it.
And you just use those first recordings?
Use those first recordings, yeah.
Because I've heard you speak about it's connection first, it's energy first. And even if it wasn't the best mic that you used, is that part of the reason that you go, well, no, we stay with the one that felt better?
Yeah, exactly. The microphones we use are great microphones, but, maybe compared to a $15,000 studio mic, it's definitely not up there. But we're not looking to have to make Miranda's voice anything. We're looking to capture the feel of how she's presenting what she's singing about. And what I've noticed and what I've learned a lot with playing and performing and recording is that the moment you get that connection and that feel to how you feel it needs to sound, then the sound naturally is everything it needs to be. So I find if it feels right, then it more often than not has sounded right.